When FICON started back in 1993, we were trying to reduce the competition between the banks in relation to community development and community development
25
corporations.
years ago, when we came together, it was around community organizing.
They began like a home ownership conference, and it actually was like banks interacting with like homeowners and renters and individuals.
So we started out as a group of bankers, some who had a community development background and some whose sole focus was lending.
Ideas all over the universe, and we had to kind of focus it to come to something that could be useful to neighborhoods across the city.
Now I think they've branched out into a lot more community empowerment and letting the community make the decisions about how things should develop in their communities.
We're coming together to help change and affect policy, affect neighborhoods change.
As Warm EcoWorks got involved, it became a professional community development conference, and in a lot of ways the community development community grew with that.
Well, I think the biggest change is that the speed to which we are seeing community development, particularly in the downtown core.
There's a huge level of sophistication about how to take the assets, though different, of any community and make them work, make it work for the people who are there.
When I look back at the beginning of FICON, there was no discussion around energy or urban farming or anything to do with green. Today, you have to have that on your agenda.
My main thought when I look back at it is that I feel like it was a very good needed thing to bring all these people together who wouldn't normally see each other.
We had a mixed sense of ideas coming forth, and it was a very exciting dynamic process because we learned from each other.
We came together and the nonprofits were at the table, the banks were at the table.
It had to be the universe, and then we had to come together and say, out of the universe of everything that needs to be done, maybe we should focus on this.
I think that the fact that we molded from the beginning, that we all shared a common desire to see the city rebuilt, and I think our strength came from that we had different ideas.
The community development folk that I really appreciated, like Kathleen Wendler, like Linda Smith, were people who were looking outside their own. Tom Gadaris was another one. People who were looking outside their own organization and realizing that it was good to put some time into planning something that would be to the benefit of all.
Yep. And Jack Schwab was very instrumental back then in bringing those resources to the table.
Bob Chapman and initially Brenda Schneider, who I think named Financial Institutions Conference, I think that's where FICON comes from, really helped to guide and grow the effort initially.
And 25 years later, that wisdom still has an impact on the work that I do. The Jack Schwab, the Brenda Schneider. I remember when Bob came to, then it was Warm, and working closely with Warm, which is now EcoWorks.
When we decided to get EcoWorks to be the coordinating body, they weren't called EcoWorks at the time, but they were a nonprofit that could pull together both the banks and the nonprofits. And they have been a huge help in making this successful. And I just give a lot of credit to the people that started this organization and the people who made it evolve into what it is today. And I'm excited to see what it's going to be in the future.